What up, Doe? What up, Doe? One FM Detroit street lawyer. Now, I want to touch back on my unlawful criminal conviction lodged upon me by, at the time then, John D. O'Hara, now Assistant Prosecuting Attorney Molly M. Kettler, also Judge Kirsten Frank Kelly, who is now in the Michigan Court of Appeals, and other individuals. Enoch Reese, my ex-wife's sister-in-law, a.k.a. Enoch Perry. Now, she conspired in violation of law with these people. Now, for those who acted under the color of state law in violation of 18 U.S.C. 241, which is a 10-year felony, and 18 U.S.C. 242. Now, 242 deals with where there's more than one person acting under the color of state law who attempts to, you know what I'm saying, violate your rights. Now, Enoch Reese, she went to the Wayne County 3rd Circuit Court and petitioned the court for a non-domestic personal protection order, where she uses the statute MCL 62950A, where the law says relief shall not be granted unless a person alleges two or more separate non-continuous acts of contact. Now, that means if a person calls you right now, you say, don't call me no more. Bam. You giving them notice. Okay, let's say they call back. That's one contact. You hang up on, let's say you're a minute or two later, they call back. That's two or more separate non-continuous acts of contact. Now, Mrs. Enoch Reese alleged in her request for a petition for a non-domestic personal protection order, which you guys will see in black and white. She says, this guy has done harm to my sister 2 years ago today. He bit her ear off, and now he has been released, and I am afraid for my life and my children's, period. She signed it. Now, a Judge Kirsten Frank Kelly, acting for the judge it was assigned to, Arthur J. Lombard, in which you will see that where he said, when I filed a relief from judgment motion, said that Kirsten Frank Kelly acted for him this particular day and signed the order in which that would be attached. Now, Porbersky versus G. I want to say 44 Michigan Appeals, page 55, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, she never alleged one contact, let alone two or more separate non-continuous acts of contact, which is required to, shall I say, satisfy the statute to grant relief. So Judge Kirsten Frank Kelly at the time, who was working in Wayne County 3rd Circuit Court Family Division, signed it anyway. She said, to hell with the law. Fuck the law. I'm going to do what I want to do, which clearly violates 18 U.S.C. 242, which is a 1-year felony, and Michigan statute MCL 750.505, misconduct in office, the same things that they got Kwame Kilpatrick for. So, my ex-wife, December the 8th, 2000, not my ex-wife, my ex-sister-in-law, Enoch Reese, the rat, shall I say, and I'm saying these things under the freedom of speech, freedom of expression, enjoyed by the First Amendment, enforced upon the cities, county, state, and federal government via the 5th and 14th Amendment. Now, when I was railroaded by Judge Michael M. Hathaway, who was also a co-conspirator to this felony in violation of 18 U.S.C. 241, he handled the trial. Now, I was convicted. I was arrested December the 14th, of 2000. Also, December the 8th, my ex-wife's sister said I called for my job. You see what I'm saying? December the 8th of 2000. And December the 8th of 2000, I was not even working. I have my work records, in which I received after the fact. And they still ignored all these things. They just railroaded me and put me in prison. Okay. So they arrested me December the 14th for my job, where I worked on Vernon and Gratiot in Detroit, downtown, at Brewery Park. Now I was railroaded So it took about a year and a half for me to get an attorney because all the attorneys was refusing the assignment. So what I did, was wrote the judge and asked for Sato. He ignored it. Timothy P. Kenny, he was the chief judge in Wayne County at the time. So I filed a motion with the Michigan Court of Appeals to order the lower court judge to appoint Sato. And I served him with a copy before they could respond. He responded and put Sato on the case. And he appointed Sato, State Appellate Defender's Office, and they assigned me Valerie R. Newman. Now, Valerie R. Newman works now for the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office, Kim Worthy. She's a crook. I'll get to that in a minute. So, unbeknownst to me, during the course of me waiting on an attorney for a year and a half, Kirsten Frank Kelly, was elected to the Michigan Court of Appeals. She filed a brief for sentencing. She said she wouldn't challenge anything else. So I filed a supplemental brief, standard 11 at the time, or standard 4, one of the two, challenging Judge Kirsten Frank Kelly. She knew that Kirsten Frank Kelly was going to be on the panel of judges. She refused to have moved Kirsten Frank Kelly to have her recuse herself for judicial bias, judicial misconduct, under Crampton versus Michigan Department of State and Michigan Court Rules 2.003. She allowed this judge to hear her own appeal. Understand me? And guess what? They upheld my 15 to 25 year sentence. So I am calling on everybody to stand up against Kim Worthy. File complaints against her, because not only is she messed over me, she's messing over other people's families. They're committing felonies downtown. This is part 1. Part 2 will be where they conspired with my brother Norman McCreary to set me up, to give me 25 years in prison. They so out cold. I lost my mother, who died October the 15th of 2002. They wouldn't even let me go to her funeral. This is how cold it is. I did 15 years and 8 months for a crime where they said I violated a personal protection order, which carries 5 years under MCL 750.411 I, sections 2A. How can you violate something that is null and void, that has no legal force? Also, when I was sentenced to prison, they put a seal over the part where the signature goes, but the judge never signed it. So I was never lawfully sent to the Michigan Department of Corrections, and they have a case called Heck versus Humphrey, in which I tried to sue. And they dismissed my case, saying that I have to get my case overturned by the Michigan Supreme Court, U.S. Supreme Court, pardoned by the governor, commutation, or something in order to sue. So people, let's stand up for what's right. Stop Kim Worthy's tyranny and criminal activity. Peace. 100 Fam, Detroit Street Lawyer. I'm out. Please check out, read the documents. Everything is real. They felons downtown in Wayne County in Detroit, Michigan. I'm out.